So we have the last section, we already talked about the two ways by which we try to respond to the question, what is philosophy? So we're talking about the first one is philosophy as way of life. The second one from the etymology, philosophy as the love of wisdom, philosophia. Sophia. Okay. So now we look at the third one. Philosophy as a critical and analytic thinking. Okay, so that's the point. So that's the third way of responding to the question, what is philosophy? And who is a philosopher? So now, you see, it is not just thinking, but it has to do with critical and analytical. No? Thinking, critical and analytical thinking, and analytic thinking. So it is not just thinking, but everybody thinks. So it's not everybody that thinks critically and analytically, or engages in analytic thinking. So this philosophy as critical and analytic thinking emphasizes clarity of terms, categories, concepts, and language. Okay. So this actually right from Socrates, that's why Socrates will ask the question, what is justice? Remember Eutropho, about piety, you know? There's a man called Eutropho who wanted to go and he wanted to go and prosecute his father, his own father, you know, for killing his own servant. So Eutropho thought that was wrong. So he wanted to prosecute his own father. And people felt, no, you can't do that to your father. When you do this against your own father, it means you are impious. Okay, so when he on his way going, Socrates met him. Very interesting, I love that. So where are you going to, my friend? Eutropho said, I'm going to prosecute my father. My father murdered his own servant. And anyone who does this should, by the law of the land, be prosecuted. So even if it's my father, but because it's my father, people felt I should not do that. But I think it's impious not to prosecute my own father for murdering his servant. So Socrates, in his usual way, asked him, I've been thinking about this problem of piety. Can you tell me, since you know about this, can you tell me what piety is? And then that led, you know, so to understand what, because you're using the word piety, you should know what it means. The same thing in the other dialogue about justice. You know, Republic, Plato's Republic was just the same thing. If you read all philosophical texts, and that is one of the beauty and characteristics of philosophy and philosophers, is that they don't take terms or categories or concepts or a language lightly. Why? Because we use language fundamentally is the instrument. Language is the instrument that we humans use. We employ language to express our thoughts. We employ language to express our thoughts. So there's a connection between thought and language. So if the language we use and the terms and concepts, you know, that make up this language, if they are not clear, then it will affect the thought. So it believes that if language is unclear, our concept will be obscure. So if we are discussing, and that is why philosophers like Wittgenstein would say that the problem of philosophy is the problem of language. And many philosophers, of course, in the analytical philosophical tradition, you know, focus on the philosophy of language. So this is a very, so that philosophy needs to be conscious of concept, clarification of concept and terms. We need to be critical about the kind of concept and terms we use. even in the scholastic philosophical era, in the Middle Ages, if you read the works of Thomas Aquinas, Duns Scotus, William Ockham, and many other scholastic philosophers, even if you read Maimonides, the Jewish scholastic philosopher, if you read the Arabic scholastic philosophers like Avicenna, Averroes, and co., you see the way they spend time. You know, they debate about each concept and terms they use in trying to express their thoughts. So it has always been there in the tradition of philosophy to pay attention to language and the concepts and the terms we use. Because if they are not clear, it will affect our thoughts and the transmission of our thoughts and the communication of the ideas we want to expound. So this is the fourth part. So making our thoughts and imaginations superfluous and unreasonable. If our thoughts, if our concepts, if our language is not clear. So that is why it is very important. So philosophy is understood strictly as critical and logical in its reasoning and analysis of our thoughts, language, categories, and concepts. So philosophy as critical and analytic thinking emphasizes this. It emphasizes philosophy, as critical and logical in its reasoning and analysis of our thoughts, language, categories, and concepts. It believes that if language is unclear, our concept will be obscure. So this is this third way of looking at. So we look at the fourth one of responding to the question, what is philosophy? And that is philosophy as the speculative thinking of the ultimate causes of things. The speculative thinking of the ultimate causes of things. We have already mentioned that earlier. So this is the fourth. So there is a cause. So the presupposition, even though these in contemporary philosophy and science, it has always been, it is being questioned, the problem of causality. Of course, since even before the time of David Hume, but with David Hume, the question of causality, even up to date, has always been a challenge. And there are different views. It's part of the, if you like, perennial problem in philosophy, the question of causality. However, philosophy as a speculative thinking of the ultimate causes of things believes that there is a cause for everything that happens. All natural sciences aim to investigate and understand an aspect of phenomenon of the cosmos, of the universe. So, but philosophy aims to investigate the ultimate principle, substance, and essence of all that is, reality as a whole. Remember, the totality of all that exists. So the natural sciences focuses on an aspect of reality, but philosophy focuses on reality as a whole. So what does that mean? Philosophy focuses on the ultimate reasons of reality, on the ultimate substance of reality. The ancient Greek pre-Socratic philosophers, they spend their time to understand what is the ultimate substance of reality. On what grounds can we say that, or what is that by which we can explain all reality as its origin or ultimate beginning? And what is the essence of reality as a whole or in part? What makes this thing as different from that? So this way of philosophizing or focusing on this kind of philosophizing or philosophical thinking is philosophy as a speculative thinking of the ultimate causes of things. Okay? So, philosophy by means of speculative reasoning attempts to understand the ultimate principle, substance, and essence of reality. This perspective of philosophy focuses on and emphasizes metaphysics and epistemology. What is truth? What is knowledge? Like what I enjoy asking my students, how do you know what you know? You know, this kind of question. What is knowledge? What can we know? How do we know that we know what we know? What are the grounds of what we consider knowledge? Is knowledge firm? Is knowledge, a priori? Is it necessary? Is it analytical? Is it a posteriori? Is it synthetic? See, this kind of question, mathematical knowledge, how come 1 + 1 is always 2? Can we know absolutely the knowledge, moral knowledge? Can we really say absolutely that an action is morally good? So this kind of question. The universe, can we really say this is the origin of the universe? This is how it came to be. Can we have a very comprehensive explanation of human existence, the meaning of life? So these are the kind of questions that, speculative thinking. When we say speculative, it means by deductive demonstration, thinking from some kind of a priori giving, and then deductively making some claims. So it's not just like dream. Speculation doesn't mean guess. No. Speculative thinking is not a guess. It's not just dreaming. No, it's like the metaphysical demonstration based on a priori. I love the scholastics are very good at that. Like the Aquinas' 5 ways of arguing for the existence of God, or even the the ontological arguments, either of that of St. Arsenal or even that of Descartes. That kind of thinking is very deep in philosophy, and we still use them in different ways. So these are the 4 ways of responding to the question, what is philosophy? So just to recap, before we take a little break, is 1, first of all, philosophy as worldview. Secondly, philosophy from etymology, philosophia as love of wisdom. The wisdom we're talking about is the wisdom of the ultimate reasons, the wisdom that comes from why of things. The third, philosophy as critical and analytical thinking. And then 4th, philosophy as speculative thinking of the ultimate causes or principle or reasons of things.